Walter from Foals, and we're here at Laneway Festival.
Hello, I'm Jimmy from Foals.
We had the first show 2 nights ago in, so it's disturbingly close. The first show was 2 nights ago in Singapore, and it was all a bit of a whirlwind, trying to get out of there and get back to Sydney. It was like really, really bad torrential rain, and we were late into Sydney last night, and then we had a few hours sleep and left at about 3 in the morning. And we just got here, but it's now I feel comfortable. Watching a bit of War Paint, first beer of the day, and I feel like we've arrived. It's good.
Well, yeah, I think the sound from the first album to the second album was just a natural evolution for us. Because I don't know, like when we played the first album so much, we toured it for like 2 years and beyond, So I think we naturally wanted to afford ourselves some space and a bit of time to approach new sounds. So yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah, I'd say that's precisely it. It's the sound of a band growing up who's had a lot more time to sort of actually regroup, having toured the first record relentlessly, and it was all the first couple of years of us really as a band were pretty full on. Not that it's eased up that much, but it was nice to actually regroup and kind of put into practice things that we'd learned about sounds and about being in the studio and about writing and about making records and all this kind of matter that we'd accumulated, which we hadn't actually been able to to work on it and execute. So yeah, it was a real pleasure, and actually it's sort of just one more step in the way to being a band with a kind of back catalogue and with more than one record. And it felt good. Yeah. The decision to work in Sweden was mainly due to the studio that we worked at, which Luke Smith, who produced the record, found this place, which is in Gothenburg in Sweden, and it's kind of it was an old factory or something, or a mill or something like that. And these guys, these kind of collection of guys, had really hand built this studio over about 5 years, and it had really nice open spaces, and we could live upstairs, and it was quite funny because when we arrived, it was like the end of the Swedish summer, and it was quite pleasant, and but by the time the record was finished, it was deep into the Swedish winter. So we spanned over entire seasons making the album. I think it really comes across in parts, but yeah, that was the real choice to be there actually, and it was such a great space. Because you had these big rooms where lots of things could be set up at once. We could do lots of live tracking, as a band, which we hadn't done a lot of at all. Really, we certainly didn't do any of it on Antidotes. So we could get room sounds and do whole takes and use that as beddings for songs, and then work from there rather than going into a booth one by one in a kind of dry environment. Like it felt like the place had a sort of a soul to it. So that was really the choice. And yeah, in terms of being away from home, I think it's always good for us to go somewhere with a kind of mission, and the mission is to record an album, and you don't really come home until it's done. And I think that's really healthy because you don't get the distractions from home a lot of the time, and it means you sort of absorb a little bit of the place that you're staying in and where you're working. So yeah, it works for us, definitely.
I think that there's definite correlation in our minds between the hot summer songs we recorded in Sweden and the dark winter songs. I think some of the later, more soundscapey songs like Two Trees and Alabaster were done quite late on in the recording process, when it was pretty full-on winter, and we've been locked away for a few weeks already. And there's songs like This Orient and especially Miami and stuff were done, and Black Gold as well were done, quite early on in the session, where people were still happy and dancing around outside, drinking mojitos. Yeah,
we've been Foals here at Laneway's Festival,
and you're watching Cheese on Toast.
Joyce, thanks.
Peace.